How lively and how fruitful are your spiritual branches and your spiritual roots? Hey there, everybody. My name is Joyce Omondi, and today on CITAM Church Online, I'd like to talk to us about spiritual dehydration. Job chapter 18 verse 16 says, "Their roots will dry up and their branches will wither." Now, many of us Christians are actually in this predicament. We're suffering from internal drought, meaning that there is little to no growth in our spiritual lives. And we need to understand that this fruitlessness is an external symptom of spiritual issues and spiritual challenges. It's pointing to spiritual root problems, okay? Dryness, death internally. And the thing is, it's very easy to ignore a root problem because it just doesn't show up on the outside. It's out of sight. I mean, think about a plant or a tree outside. You can't necessarily tell what's happening in its roots. And often when you do, it's when the branches begin to show some sort of, sign of something is off, or they're looking dry, they're not looking very good. That's when you can begin to suspect that there's something wrong internally, right? But the thing is, by that time, it's also often a little too late, okay? It's the same thing for us. Our spiritual roots, are often only known between ourselves and God, right? He's the one who really knows what we're doing. And so it's very possible to look great on the outside, to have all this Christianese and sound very spiritual and very holy and righteous. But the truth is, our roots are dead. Our roots are not healthy. Our roots are dried up. They're withered. And ultimately, our own spiritual branches will begin to reveal that there has been a very serious problem. And the problem is, just like the plant, by the time it's showing up in our branches, it's often such a critical point, right? Things are really out of hand, perhaps even dangerous. And why does that matter? Well, because dry roots mean that our structure is not very strong. It means that our foundation is weak. And if that is the case, then we become even more vulnerable to attacks. We become more vulnerable to deception. We become more vulnerable to adverse forces and all sorts of spiritual diseases. And they could start small. Gossip, lying, manipulation, jealousy, envy, name it. All of those are diseases that are going to begin attacking our roots because they have not been well hydrated or well fed. And so in considering this, let's think about how then do we solve this? It's so simple, but it's also hard at the same time because we don't do it, right? It is literally just to remain in God's presence. It is to constantly be seeking Him because He is the one that is going to be feeding us. Our nutrients, our minerals, the vitamins that we need come from Him. He is the source. And for as long as we don't see that, then we're going to begin to do things our own way. And perhaps that's what a lot of us have been doing. We've been trying to supplement what we need with other things, right? And so, especially in this time where we're still dealing with this pandemic, I think a lot of us are being forced to really think about, and I'm hoping that this conversation is forcing you to think about what or who has been feeding your spiritual roots, right? Maybe for a long time it was the fact that you go to church on Sunday and you feel like, yeah, that's it, I'm being fed spiritually, or that there's a Bible study that you attend. But my question is, now that we're where we are, right, when we can't go to church, we can't necessarily meet in Bible study the way we used to, outside of you going to church on Sunday, outside of the worship team telling you to lift your hands and leading you in praise, outside of there being a Bible study group that's sort of keeping you in check, now that those things are not there, who or what is feeding your spiritual roots? That's such a powerful statement for us to think about, because God has given us access to his throne, where he tore the veil, and we were just celebrating Easter the other day. He tore the veil, meaning we can go straight to him. And so the question is, are we seeking those encounters with him? Are we looking for that experience with him? Are we seeking him first above all else? If not, our spiritual roots will be dehydrated. Our spiritual roots will begin to wither and to dry up and die. And so I really just, felt really challenged by this, like, hey Joyce, are you committed to seeking God and to finding that refreshment, finding that nourishment from him? I pray that, in this season that we're in, that we'll begin to reestablish those roots. We'll begin to really nurture them and put back all that we've been losing, as we chase life, as we chase money, as we chase I don't know what. Hopefully this time is really causing us to refocus, to recalibrate our minds back to the ultimate source of our lives. I hope you've been challenged just as much as I have by this message here, that indeed we need God more than ever before, but let's also do it that is not just for this season, but even when we come out of this, that indeed he would be the one feeding our roots, and those roots would be healthy and well hydrated for his glory. So let me know what you thought. You can reach us at CITAM Church Online on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as like, comment, and share this video. Until next time, God bless you. Have a wonderful week. Bye.